So using the graphing calculator, we're going to use the graphing calculator for MCTs. Okay. We're also going to find out our standard deviation and the range, by the way, using our calculator. So it makes it so much faster, guys. Can you imagine 50 values having to do the mean by hand? It's just so tedious because we just want to have it to move on, to describe the data, right? So what we're going to do is this. We're going to put the points into L1. I'm sure you all know by now how to get to L1, okay? Then we're going to sort the data. We press stat, sort A. If you go sort A is ascending. If you go sort D, it's descending. I won't care about descending. I will always go ascending because I just want to arrange it, okay? Then we have to calculate. To calculate the mean, standard deviation, and the median, we go stat, calc, one variable, stats. And you should see this on your screen. Unfortunately, guys, I had to spread it into two because you only see this on the first page. Then you have to go arrow down to see the second page. So I will actually write this down. First page, second page. You're going to have to scroll down to access this second part of the calculations. And so what you need, this is busy, right? It's very, very messy. But here, this is your mean. Okay? That's the first number that you should grab. X bar, that's your mean. The next number I want you to focus on, you can skip all of this. This one, lowercase sigma x. This is your standard deviation. Okay, that's your standard deviation. I'm going to highlight it in a bit. This is the number of values. This one tells you whether or not you missed a value. Okay, number of values. Then you go to the second page. We are going to use, watch this, we're going to use this one and this one, okay, for the range. Subtract, okay. We're going to subtract to get the range out of those two. Why? Because it tells you the minimum value present in your data set and the maximum present in your data set. So now I'm going to highlight all the ones that you really need to know. Mean, standard deviation, N is the number of values, the min, the max to get your range. I'm going to use a different color for median. Do you see median right there? Yes, it even finds the median for you. It even finds the median for you. So if you can squeeze that in, do that. So everything is just boom right there. So in this case, for this particular data set, the range, what's your max here? Max is 9 minus your min is negative 12, right? If you look up here, it's negative 12, so we got to go minus negative 12 like that, which ends up being 9 plus 12, which is 21. I don't know what the units are, so I'm just going to slap units on there to be safe. And the one that this one doesn't give us, which I'm like, why not? Like, how much more programming would it have been to just do that? Is to determine the mode, look at L1, which is now sorted. So you got to go to L1. You sorted it in step 2, and you're going to have to scroll through your data sets and find the one that happens most often. Okay, you're going to have to find that yourselves. So let's try one. I will do Toronto, you will do Winnipeg. Or Tirana, right? If you're from Toronto. Did you know that that's how they say they're from Toronto? Anybody here from Toronto? At some point? I probably mispronounced it, but anyways, below are the daily highs over a 12-day period during the month of April in degrees Celsius. So we have units for two cities in Canada. We've got Toronto and we've got Winnipeg. Okay, so we're gonna start with Toronto. Calculate the mean, median, mode, range of all of that. I'm gonna add you to add this. State, standard deviation as well. Okay? Don't forget about your good old standard deviation. I used to wait with standard deviation till the very end, and students were like, standard what? Right? So I do it right away. I talk about it right away. I don't wait anymore. Okay? So what we're going to do is this. Grab your calculators and try to follow me. Okay? I'm going to clear. So we're just focused on Toronto right now. So we're going to go stat, edit, clear everything on your screens. You don't want anything that. And yes, we're only going to use L1, okay, for now. So you type in 5. So you have to be fast enough to not waste too much time, but you also want to make sure you don't miss anything. Don't miss decimals. Don't miss negatives. So enter all of those values. Check real quick. I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So n is equal to 12 for both of them. So you can check various ways. If you look at your bottom of your screen, as you enter that last value, it's in the 12th entry. That's one hint. Let's now, you can tell that it's not sorted, so let's sort that next. Okay. Make sure we follow along. Okay, make sure you follow along. Stat, sort A. Okay, you want to press the second option there. It asks you to feed it, like which one do you want me to sort? I'm going to go second one. You don't even have to close the bracket. Just feed it L1. Okay, hit enter. It says it's done now. Okay, if you were to go check again, stat, edit, you can tell that it has been arranged for you. So that's pretty cool, especially if you've got 20, 30, 40, 50 values. It's very handy. Yes?
If you have a table like this, can't you just do it like that though? Just do it.
You can, but if you make a mistake, then, right? I would not. You can. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to stop you. I won't even know, right? I won't find out. Like, anyways, so this is arranged, so that's good. But let's calculate, okay? So it always goes back to stat. Stat, calculate. We used to do quadratic regression. Don't worry about it. One variable stat. Listen carefully to this part. We will never use two variable statistics in this course. So please always just go one variable statistics. You hit enter. You got to feed it L1. So second one. Hit enter. And there it is. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to have a Toronto column. If you do this, I am happy. One variable stats. You're going to find the average. And this has a value, right? Degrees Celsius. I want the median. So we'll do that. Median is, you have to scroll down a bit until you see median right there. 7.5. 7.5, so 7. Don't round to a whole number. I know with that example I did earlier with you, I did. That was just simplified. Mode, I will do that a little later. Okay, mode, I have to go back to L1, so let's leave that for now. Range. For the range, watch what I do here. I just go max minus min. So 12 minus 0, so that's just 12 degrees Celsius. There's a range of 12 degrees for these 12 days in Toronto. Okay. And standard deviation, let's not forget about that one. Standard deviation, if you're wondering, is not Sx, but the sigma x, right? 3.21. And that's degrees Celsius. Let's find our mode. How do we do mode? We go stat, edit, and go look at your values. And I'm going through it. 5, 5, 5. So far 5 is one of the modes. There's 3 9s. And that's it. So 5 and 9 are my two modes here. 5, 9 degrees Celsius. You will now do Winnipeg right beside it here. And I will come around and check up on you in case you are struggling. What I will do is give you the answer shortly. Yeah, I got it. So you do that part, okay? Oh, I didn't mention when you go back to your home screen, everything is gonna be gone. As soon as you leave your home screen, so you just run it again. Go up arrow, run it again. Let's say you're like, oh, I missed something. I want to just run the one variable stats again and then do that. One thing I wanted to mention is that n was 12, which is a good way to check, to double check I didn't miss one, especially when you have more values, right? So there we go. Try to find these. And all right. So for Winnipeg, what I did is this, okay? Oh, I should have done. By the way, you may use L2 if you want to. Like if you wanted to leave this in L1 and put this into L2, it's fine. But then basically what I would do is I put this into L1, like feed L1 to the first one for Toronto and make this L2 and then do the same thing for Winnipeg. That way you keep both of your data sets intact, okay? I ended up clearing my L1. I'm gonna quickly go sort it. Then I'm gonna run the statistics, but you know what, I already did it before, so I'm just gonna run one variable stats, and there it is. So it's 0.5 degrees Celsius, no surprise, yep. Median is 1.5. Mode is, mode I have to figure out later. Range. So watch out with range. It's max, minus, min. Okay? So this ends up being 21 degrees Celsius. There's a much bigger spread. Without me doing, okay guys, this is where I want you to pay attention. Without me even calculating the standard deviation. Which one is more spread out? Winnipeg, right? If this standard deviation is 3.21, would we expect this to be greater or smaller? It'll be greater because remember, what does standard deviation do? This tells us the average distance from every point to the middle, to the average. So this should be greater, and it is. It is 5.77, okay? Right there, 5.77. So this is 5.77 degrees Celsius. Higher standard deviation means more spread out. Okay. And we're not surprised, right? Like we know Winnipeg, what Winnipeg is like. The range is much bigger, right? Like we always have like the minus, like even if it's a nice day, it's gonna be -2 at night. And then it's gonna be like 10 feels like 5, right? Like it's gonna be a big range compared to Toronto. Must have been funny. I'm gonna ask them later. Can I get in on the joke? What is the mode here? 6? 6. 6 shows up two times. So there we go. Let's do a plot now. I should have asked you to keep L1 and L2. Okay. Can I ask you to do this real quick because we're gonna need it for what we're doing next? I'm gonna clear my data set. I'm gonna put Toronto into L1 and Winnipeg into L2. Can you please do that with me? You race me to it. I wish I had your texting skills. Oops. I'm trying to go faster because I hear you guys click and then it's like, I can't beat you guys. What am I kidding myself here? Okay. So for a line plot, which we're going to do next page, listen carefully. Especially if you're going to if you're going to make multiple line plots, can we sort L1 and L2 real quick? Because that makes it so much easier. So let's go to sort. We're going to say sort L1, hit enter. We're going to repeat that. I'm going to copy that. And instead of L1, I'm also going to tell it to sort L2. I'm sorting both of them. I'm sorting Toronto, I'm sorting Winnipeg.
Can you do like comma L2?
I don't know, try it. He's asking, can you do L1, comma L2 and then just sort everything? Probably. It wouldn't be the first time that a student outsmarts me on this one. Okay, so, doesn't work? Okay.
It worked for L1 only.
Okay, so you have them sorted, so now let's go to the line plot. Line plots, guys, it's basically just putting points down where the values go, okay? So, on page 5, for a line plot, you have to label the mean, median, and mode. Use the min and the max to determine a scale. Labels and units, please. Place data points on the line. Watch this one here. Stack if there's multiple entries. Okay, you stack them up. Label locations of MCTs. Range is not an MCT. Okay. So let's do that. But by the way, guys, the number, the scale, I don't care what you use. Just make sure it's consistent, just like with a graph. Okay. So for example, for Toronto, the coldest we get in Toronto is 0. The highest we get there is 12, right? Sorry, 12. So it's 0 and 12. And for Winnipeg, the highest we get is 9, but the lowest we get is negative 12. See that? So it's a bit of a spread, okay? What I will do is this. I will try to go up by, what should I go up by? By 2s. If I go 2, this would be negative 14, negative 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, 2, 4. That doesn't quite do it for me. Can I ask you to change this to negative 15? And we're going to go negative 15, negative 10, negative 5, 0, 5, 10, 15. That'll do it for us. This is overkill going past 20, so we're going to stop there. So for Toronto, you just say daily temps in degrees Celsius, just like before. Just label your x-axis, basically. And because we're comparing, I would like this to have the same scale as that one. So I'm going to go negative 15, negative 10, negative 5. So I'm going up by 5s, right? 5, 10, 15, 20. That's good enough. Daily temps, degrees Celsius. So now literally you do what it tells you to do here, the data points. So let's do Toronto first. 0, you put a point right where 0 is. 3 is right about there. 5 is right there. And you have 3 5s. So in this case, you would stack it 3 high, like there's 3 stacked, right? Then you have 7, 8, 9, and you've got 3 9s, right? So I would want to see the stacking. Then at 10, then at 12, and you're done. Okay, for Toronto, that is your line plot. My scale could have done, I could have done a better job at my scale, but this makes sure it fits, and that's what matters most. Let's do Winnipeg next. I'm going to start at my lowest. Negative 12 is right about there. Negative 7 is right about there. Negative 5 is there. 0 is there. There's 2 1s.
You missed negative 1.
Huh?
You missed negative 1.
Is there a negative 1?
Oh, wait, maybe. Oh, wait, no, I put it. Never mind.
Okay.
I didn't put it in mine.
Okay. So where are we at now? Negative 5. You can't see my calculator, can you, here? I would strongly suggest you go arrow down as you put the numbers down. 0, there's 2 1s, then there's a 2, then there's a 3, and a 4, and a 6, and another 6, and a 9. Okay. Oh, so do we have 2 modes? Did I miss one of the modes when I went over it on the previous page? Oh yeah, did I make a mistake? There is a negative 1, isn't there? That's how I caught it, because you only had one mode. I made a mistake. This is a negative 1 here. So, good catch. So I have to have a negative 1 here. Negative 1. So there should only be one stacked like this, because we only have one mode here. So that's it. And the highest I get is 9. So that's it. That is my line plot for Winnipeg. I know you're not as excited as I am, right? But can you see that Winnipeg is more spread out and that Toronto is a bit more clustered? Okay. Where's the mean? The mean for Toronto is 6.83. So right there is the mean. Just label it like that. And obviously the mode, there's 2 modes. The median is 7.5. So the median is literally right next to the mean. Okay. So in this case, all 3 of them are fairly close to the center of my data set. Okay. Let's do the same thing for Winnipeg. For Winnipeg, the mean is right about there. The median is 1.5. And the mode is 6. Okay. The mode is 6. Let's see here. I would say that this one is possibly an outlier. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to describe the data that we have. So make sure you put all the points down. We labeled the mean, median, and mode. Outlier is not necessary. I'm just letting you know that there's an outlier. It's very different than the rest, than the general trend. And now we're going to do the part that most of you are going to find probably the most challenging part of all. Okay? Describe the data sets for each city using mathematical reasoning. So the mean, the range, and the standard deviation. So before we write, let's go Toronto. The mean is higher or lower compared to Winnipeg? We've got to look at the values, right? Let me just write this down real quick here for you. The mean is 6.83. Okay. The standard deviation is 3.21. And the range is 12. For Winnipeg, the mean is 0.5. Standard deviation is 5.77. The range is 21 degrees Celsius. You don't have to do this every time, but I'll just give you a little bit of a tip, hint on how to do these types of questions. So you pick, do you want to approach it from Toronto's perspective or Winnipeg's perspective? Like pick one of the data sets and talk about how does the mean compare to the other one? How does the standard deviation compare to the other one? How does the range compare to the other one? So let's go with Toronto's. Toronto has a greater mean temperature which indicates that it is generally warmer than Winnipeg. Okay, so you talked about the mean. What does an average, a higher average mean? That in general, the general trend is that it's warmer in Toronto. Okay? Toronto has a greater, you can lump this up, greater standard deviation and range. Sorry, lower. Toronto has a lower standard deviation and range, right? Look at the numbers. Mr. Dirksen, look, it's lower. It's lower. So I caught myself, okay, there. Toronto has a lower standard deviation and range, which indicates a bunch of things. Temps are more consistent. There's less variation from the mean. So instead of data, replace it with what is the data representing? Is it scores? Is it temperature? Temperatures are more clustered around the average. Example, okay, where my mean is 6.83. Okay, so everything is a bit more compressed. That's how you do it. Okay? I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to ask you to try this very thing. Page 6, 7, and 8. And I'll explain to you real quick what it is that I'm expecting you to do. Okay? Page 6 already has the data there. It's not arranged. So you have to just follow these instructions. And I'm going to ask you to do a line plot. Okay? A line plot. Listen carefully to this part. 7 is doing the same thing that we just did with Toronto, Winnipeg. You're comparing the lifetimes of batteries of 2 different brands, and I'm going to ask you in a table format to figure out their mean, median, mode, standard deviation, all of that stuff. Okay? Then I'm going to ask you to do a line plot for each of them, and then you describe as well. Okay? So it's kind of like doing the same thing. It looks like a lot, but most of it your calculator can do for you fairly quickly. Okay? Thank you, guys.